You don't believe me? Because if I'm going to lie to you about a green light, what else am I going to lie to you about?
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone to our City Council meeting, our regular meeting. It is Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, and it is 7 p.m. I'd like to welcome everybody that's here in person and all those who are on YouTube Live for being with us tonight. We have kind of short on council members tonight, but I know Councilman Hathaway's out of town, Councilmember Bowman is out of town, and Councilmember Montoya is on her way. So we'll kind of hold the business we have to till towards the end when she gets here. So we'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there anyone willing to give the Pledge of Allegiance with us tonight? Thank you.
Please repeat the pledge with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. We'd also like to have an invocation or an inspirational thought tonight. Go ahead. Can you come up to the microphone, Art?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to assemble in the City Council meeting. We're grateful for our elected leaders, and we ask you to bless them that they might make decisions that are in the best interest of each and every member of our community, and especially the community as a whole. We're thankful for the freedoms we enjoy and for those that help us to preserve those freedoms. We give thee thanks for all that we have, especially for thy Son. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Art. All right, any declaration of conflict of interest with anything on the agenda tonight? I'll make my one. The company I work for, VanCon, has a contract with the city right now. I am an employee only. I'm not an owner. And so that's my declaration there. If nothing else there, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Mayor?
Yes.
We'll need to hold on that because of the bills.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
So no consent agenda yet. Public forum. We can do that, can't we? Does anybody sign up?
There's nobody.
We had that one email that you sent me, didn't you, on the third West?
Correct, but we're not.
It's not a public forum? Okay.
As I understood it.
Okay. We just all saw that. Okay.
But we'll incorporate that into the public hearing that we have
Okay.
coming up, and we'll
Good.
roll that into it.
Thank you. Recognitions. We have the Employee of the Month. Employees of the Month. How's that? Penny, come on up.
Alrighty, if we could have our summer parks crew come up here. Who's here today?
And Jason Calloway as well.
And Jason Calloway. No. All right. All right, these guys are our October 2021 Employees of the Month.
You gotta
So you're
get closer, guys. Come
Behind
on,
me,
come
I'm
on up.
feeling.
We need
Come on up
we
here.
need a
There,
better
thanks,
view
Mike.
of you. There you
All
go.
right. Our 2021 October Employees of the Month is our Summer Parks crew. This group of hardworking employees really stepped up and worked hard to make the parks look fantastic this summer, especially for our Orchard Days celebration. Some of them even turned down other job opportunities, which would have paid more to continue working through the summer for the city so our parks would be the best that they could be. They each took ownership and pride in their work and contributed greatly to the effort which has made our city parks beautiful. The crew consisted of Courtney Houston, Braden Carter, Trey Bennett, Max Mitchell, Trevor Taylor, Mitch Coombs, Daryl Wall, Rick Johnson, and Chuck Rinker. Their immediate supervisor was Brian Meekum, who was fairly new to the park supervision responsibility, but he did a great job at keeping the crew motivated and the parks looking top-notch. Thank you for the great work and the example you have set to everyone in our community. That's it. Alrighty, so yeah, Benjamin, if you can show some images.
You bet.
So I know Brian, he's here, but I don't know your names.
I'm Braden. I'm Trevor.
Trevor and Braden. All right, Brian, you want to take a minute and say something?
I'd love to, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, I just when we switched over, it was a little bit of a daunting task to do this. I knew that we'd had a big responsibility kind of on our shoulders to make sure that we could handle the job. And these guys stepped up, and they just worked so well with me as I learned, the role over the parks. They were patient with me. They were patient with other coworkers, and they just did a great job. They cared about what they did, and they took ownership in their parks, and they worked really hard. And I just wanted to, they did great. You guys did awesome. Thanks.
Hey.
Awesome.
How many others do you have on the crew? I know she read the name, Penny read the names, but how many were there total?
Were there 11? I think there's.
I bet the number of
10,
candy bars
yes.
matches.
Yeah.
What's that?
The number of candy bars
Oh,
right
yeah.
there probably
Okay.
matches.
Whatever was in there.
10
huh?
of them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Do you need more?
No, we're good. No. Whatever's on that list, that's how many we had. It's just
Yeah, but
we have a lot of
do you need
turnover.
more for the future,
Oh,
though?
always. Yeah. I think what we have a pretty good plan for next year. Jason and I have been talking, and
Okay.
the older crew, Mitch and Daryl and Rick, they really help out. They only work 3 days a week, but that really helps us stay on
You've
top
done
of
so
stuff.
well that we don't want to short
everything's
you. We
going good.
want
Yeah.
to keep you going. So,
Jason and I have a good plan going, so we'll
Good.
be ready for next
all
year.
right.
Yep.
So come right up here, and I'll come around. We'll have a picture.
Get their best side.
There you go. Y'all can go to Dairy Queen together. All right, I gotta get you out of the frame. You've got George Washington right behind your head. Amir, if you would stand a little closer. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then 1. Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor, do you mind if I make a quick comment?
Sure.
I just really noticed during the orchard days that this is well deserved, how things were that well taken care of. But I played ball on Callaway Field for several years now, and no offense to anybody before, but sometimes it was like a horse pasture out there. And this year, they stepped up there too. It was as good as any field I've played on. And anyway, they did a great job. So much appreciated.
I agree. The parks, cemetery, all of it was just incredible and green. Yeah, you've adjusted the sprinklers to where everything's getting covered. It doesn't go unnoticed. It's noticed, and we appreciate that.
Well, and a testament to that is just the number of participants in soccer and how many people are out there using it constantly. And
Yeah.
it looks great.
Yep. So, okay, we have the Payson Santaquin Area Chamber of Commerce here tonight. Go ahead, Ben.
Appreciate you guys getting us on the agenda this evening. We got our wires crossed. Should have been here next time, but I appreciate you squeezing us in. So thank you. For business of the month, we wanted to recognize the Balance Health and Thor Manji. Sorry, Thor Manji. He is located in Payson, and is Balanced Health is really kind of encompasses what his business does. He's does chiropractic as well as health, nutrition, and does whole body scans and things. And so he really takes care of those whom he works for, or who he takes care of. And one of the reasons we wanted to recognize him is not only for what he does for the community, but he's also an initial part of the Payson downtown area. He's on the activities committee for the Payson Downtown Initiative and helping to develop the downtown. Also, the historic Payson Downtown nonprofit that he's a part of down there as well. And he also serves on the ambassador committee here, as well as on the board for the chamber. So he's certainly involved in quite a few of the activities that go on in the Payson Santaquin area, and grateful for his service there, and want to recognize him as Business of the Month. So. And would it be okay if he took just a moment? And
I would love to have him tell us a little bit about his business. And
thanks very much. Won't take too much time. I'm originally from South Africa, and then I practiced in Vegas for about 15 years, and then relocated up here. Initially, I went to BYU, so it's kind of like coming home. And then when we bought this beautiful building next to Eli's, it's the old drugstore, and it's amazing. As soon as we bought it, I felt like I was part of the community, and that's when I really got kind of invested. And me and Ty Jones and Ashley Guy from Utah Trikes, we started the nonprofit, and I just love this community and like to give back. I believe a rising tide raises all ships, and my practice called Balanced Health, I really look at the whole body, and my goal is to help people fulfill their mission on earth, whatever it may be, a husband, best athlete. And so I really look at the whole body, and I love what I do, and I'm grateful for being here, and I'm excited to see this whole area grow. And we've got to get ready for the growth. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. I was going to say, if you needed a well-balanced body to look at, or Chief Lynn probably has one.
Round's a shape, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, can we do the awards with that?
No.
Okay. We can do the reports then?
We have, the building permit report.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Building permit and business license. Go ahead.
All right,
Jason.
Mayor and Council. So as you can see, we are officially over the year-to-date total that we had in all of 2020. So I think it's safe to say that this is a record-breaking year for growth in Santaquin City. We're currently at 449 total residential dwelling units. You can see in comparison to where we were last year, we're significantly ahead. That makes up 236 single-family homes, 213 townhomes. And then in addition to that, we still have the 3 new commercial spaces that we have there. So yeah, a lot of growth, and it'll continue, and we still have a few months left. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up at the end of the year. And then for new business licenses, we got the 2. I guess with some of the federal programs that are there, it should be no surprise that there's a lot of new preschools with the the money that American citizens are getting for their preschool students. So we got we got those 2 preschools there. I don't know if you need me to read those, but happy to answer any questions that you have about business licenses or building permits.
I sat next to I don't know what he was. He was on staff at Eagle Mountain City at the meetings we had this last week, and he's saying they're gearing up for 1,700 new building permits next year.
Eagle Mountain?
1,700. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw some figures the other day, just looking up some things, and obviously Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs are growing like crazy, but the one that just blows me out of the water is since the last census, since 2010 to the 2020 census, Vineyard City has grown by over 13,000%.
Yeah.
So they went from 115 residents to over 15,000 residents in the span of 10 years. So
I think they're at 20 right now.
well, according to the census, they were just over 15. So that's probably true, just with how fast they're growing. Maybe they're up closer to 20,000 by now. But I bring that up just because of the immense growth that's happening, not just here in the state, but here particularly in Utah County.
Yeah.
I think it's the fastest growing county in the entire nation, and I think for Santaquin and the size that we are, we're growing at a pretty crazy rate, relatively speaking, for Santaquin City. So, yeah, we're doing our best to manage the growth, and I think it'll continue to come with the market demand there is for housing.
What's the population of Eagle Mountain? Any idea?
Oh, I can't remember off the top.
I know
of my
what he
head.
said. He told me. I know what he said. So,
Mhm.
what do you think it is?
I think it's in the 30 to 40,000 range.
50,000.
Really?
So, going from nothing to 50,000. How'd you like to be that public works director out there? I agree. Yeah. All right. Well, we're down to the reports. City Manager Benjamin Reeves.
Okay, a couple of reports. We're planning on the opening of Highland Drive, Canyon Road, on Saturday at 9 a.m. That'll be a ribbon cutting event. Currently the crews are finishing off the concrete collars, pouring those, and getting all the obstacles out of the way, letting that concrete cure. And all of that should be done so that we can open up at 9 a.m. on Saturday. We're envisioning that the intersection is going to be a 4-way stop, and that's because of the amount of traffic that will be coming off the south exit and cross traffic to what currently comes down Center Street. So 2 new stop signs are going to be added to that intersection, 2 new stop ahead signs and some flags to ensure that people are aware of that. We're going to let the community know, get some posts out there that we're going to be having that ribbon cutting event. It's just a small ceremony. We're actually kind of just inviting the neighbors to walk to it and to cut that ribbon. We'll have some donuts available, and should be a nice event. Rain or shine, it's going to open, and people were using it when it was road based, and I think they're going to use it whether it's raining or shining, right? So Columbus Day event is going to be on Monday. So our city offices will be closed on Monday each year. This is our 5th year. We shut down the offices. Most people think it's a federal holiday and the offices are closed, when in fact it's not. Our offices aren't typically closed, but we do close down. We spend the day with our entire staff doing training all at once, and we have some great speakers. Representative and former Major General Jeff Burton is going to be speaking to us on leadership, as well as some employee assistance program, education, and for our elected leaders who are present, we're going to have a panel of our elected leaders coming up. So nothing you have to pre-prepare, but a panel, and we'll ask questions of our elected leaders on where they see things going, their advice if they're stepping off the council and what they'd like to see the city staff continue to work on. Allow the city staff themselves to ask questions and just to give an opportunity for everybody to share their thoughts and then have a nice discussion. So no,
Good. I
alluded to
had
so-
5 pages prepared, so that gave me a chance to do that. Thank you.
Well, okay.
How many pages do you have?
0.
So it'll be very informal. We'll pass the mic back and forth. But following that, we're going to be doing a special service project for the seniors in our community, and more information will be shared about that later. So that'll be a great service project event in the afternoon, and then late afternoon, our families join us and participate at the Red Barn. And so it's a great event each year for our city staff. Water tank bonding, we're having all of that come together. Just a reminder to the council that not only are we looking at bonding for the tank itself, but refinancing and lowering the interest rate on the remainder of our irrigation system debt, rolling that all together. So we're looking at about an $11 million bond right now to roll that all together. When I say 11, that's what's called a parameters resolution. It's the furthest out, the highest amount for the highest interest for the longest duration. We can't exceed that in the parameters, but as the plans continue to get refined and the design moves forward and the bids are locked in, then the costs will come down. So that's the intent there, and so that is moving forward, and you should see that in the probably the next council meeting or the one following. Lastly, our annual city calendar. We've historically sent out a calendar each year to all of our residents, and it is in the budget for us to do that again using the pictures that we received from our Picture of the Month contest, and it's great opportunity for our community to see what they love about Santaquin. So we're envisioning moving forward with that, and we do have some costs of the budget is going to be expanded just a little bit this year because we want to ensure that we send them to our post office boxes. We had calendars here for those who received post office boxes because we didn't want to duplicate and send. If people had a post office box and a home address, but I guess most of the people who have post office boxes don't have home delivery, and so a segment of our population hasn't been receiving those, and so we're going to be increasing the numbers there. And I did have an email today on that, and that was we also have 3 bids on the printing. Our local Pioneer Press at 93 and 98. U Printing, which is online, 8572, and another online at 7082. We've historically or last year used Pioneer Press for that purpose, and because of the local support, local businesses last year with COVID dollars, we added businesses to the mailer. It took a significant amount of time and effort to try to get all the different logos, and so we're not envisioning doing that this year, but we are envisioning keeping the local dollars local and having that project go through. Is there any concerns or thoughts from the council about staying local and or concerns or thoughts? This isn't an actionable item. This isn't on your agenda or anything. This is just more of a report because it's already a budgeted item.
I agree. Keep it local.
And then also about mailing to the post office boxes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. I've stretched out my report just about as long as I can.
Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah,
And so I'll let you guys go through your
Jason to
report.
kick you in the shin.
If in fact it goes any longer and we still need to stretch out, I still have that work meeting item I could come back.
Okay, Jason, anything to report?
Yeah, time where we need to stretch stuff out. I don't have a ton to report. Our upcoming DRC and Planning Commission meetings appear to be pretty light. There's a lot of preliminary work happening with applicants, developers, but there's nothing that's really a pending application. So The meetings could be pretty light, or perhaps even canceled due to lack of agenda items. So in terms of things coming through the process, there's not a whole lot. We expect, because of some of the preliminary work we're doing with people, that it'll ramp up here, particularly towards the end of the year. So there could be some pretty heavy agendas because of some of the work, and we had that during the work meeting where there's some developments that are really taking steps to move their development proposals forward. So other than that, I don't really have much else to report at this time.
Okay. Brett, do you have anything to report? We're looking for anybody.
Well, you're coming down the line quite a way. Not really anything to report. We're just working on agreements and still some ordinance revisions with Dennis. Marka coming on board has been looking at a lot of the ordinances we've got and how we need to adapt and make some changes there that will help. We've spent quite a bit of time revising the fine schedule for the city ordinances, and we're still in the process of getting all of that input onto the state system. So we've got the ability to actually enforce all of the ordinances that the city has. And as you know, we've got a new judge who's been with us for the last month, or a little bit more than a month now, Judge Eric Jewell. I've had the opportunity to practice before him now several weeks, and I think he's doing a very good job. He'll be a real asset to the Justice Court and to the city. So still working on those things. There still is a little catch up to do on the criminal side with all of what has happened with COVID and related things. We're still not generally having anything in person in court unless it's a trial, specific trials, and the direction of the Utah Supreme Court is that if we have a trial like that, everyone participating has to be masked and follow appropriate precautions. So I think we've only had one of those here in the last about year and a half.
Wow.
But I anticipate that that's going to be loosening up a little bit more in the not too far distant future. So we'll look forward to being back in court again for some things. Some of the things I think we found work just as well remotely, and not having as many people traveling so far. And especially with the criminal courts transporting prisoners. That seems to work out quite well, unless it's a trial or something where you really need to have someone here. Just having them appear through WebEx proceeding from the jails. So, I think some things are going well. We've learned some things that we can utilize in the future, but look forward to getting back to some of the more traditional things also. I think it's going well. We still have a little bit of work to do in catching up.
Okay. Any questions for council? Our council, not your council. But thank you, Brett, for that report. We need to have you more often. So, yeah, thanks for being here. Councilman Meekum, do you have anything to report?
I don't.
You're killing me. Councilman Miller, do you have anything?
So we had our police department interviews 10 days ago or something. I can't remember, but it was actually the best group that we've actually ever interviewed, to be honest. Chief Hurst made a offer to a Santaquin resident. He will start training with us on December 1st. He still has to finish part of his post certifications, and that will start in January. But this is for our next officer. We're not behind, we're not down officers. This is just for the next officer to account for growth. And then we have the records clerk position. We have interviews on Tuesday for that position.
Good.
So we will do that then.
Great.
That's it.
So we haven't lost any with everything that's going on in the state of Utah. I just worry about that. If we can somehow take care of them to keep them here, that would really. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Well, you make a time. Perfect timing.
Perfect. Yay for those parent driver's ed meetings.
All right.
Safety
All right.
first.
Back to the consent agenda. We have the minutes of the council work session of September 21st, 2021, and the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 21st, 2021. Any questions or additions or corrections to those minutes? Okay, we have the bills, the invoice register of October 1st, 2021 of $420,642.60. Any questions or concerns on the bills? Okay. I look for a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Meekum. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. All right. We didn't do anything. Public government recognitions are taken care of. Awards. Item number 5, bid for ambulance purchase.
Mayor and Council, I sent out a memo earlier today. If we could have Chief Lynn come up to the witness stand. As you know, Chief Lynn has requested the replacement of one of our ambulances for $260,000 in last year's budget. It was approved and has moved forward, and it is before you for your consideration. The chassis was already purchased for $51,171.50, leaving a balance of $208,828.50 for the fabrication and equipment and stocking of the remainder of the ambulance. A bid was put out for the box portion, and the bid that Chief Lind is recommending is $162,949. But I will let him talk about the aspects of that piece of equipment.
So when we put out the ambulance package, we purchased that chassis through Murdoch, the old Tishners, and had them drop shipped to whatever we award. The nice thing is the delay in the manufacturing of the chassis, we can change it no matter which way, but we wanted to get that into production as soon as possible. So we had 2 bids received, one from the Osage Manufacturing Group, which we currently have one of their ambulances, and one from a manufacturer called Horton. The Horton ambulance did not meet the entire specs that we put out, with the 2 biggest specs being the lifetime warranty of the box portion of the ambulance and the 2x2 by 1x2 interlacing construction of that box. And this is a safety feature for the caregivers in the back. When we first bought our first Osage ambulance, I went back out to Lynn, Missouri to their manufacturing facility and looked at an ambulance that had rolled 7 times. And that box held up because of the safety features. That was important to me, the lifetime warranty of the box, especially as we move forward. Our plan is to be able to remount these boxes onto new chassis, saving anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 per remount in the future. And so it's a long-term investment, not just a disposable ambulance. The Osage was about $8,800 more, but it met everything, and it still is right at that budget that we asked for, the $260. So I'm making the recommendation that we move forward with the Osage construction.
State of the art, right?
It is state of the art, safety, almost tall enough that I can stand up in it.
Well, that's good.
So, but yes,
Good.
they're very nice vehicles, and they're highly sought after. The retail value of used ones is significantly higher than anything else, because a small department can buy a used one that's 10 years old for $10,000 or $20,000 and then put it on a new chassis and save themselves significant amounts. So
Great.
that is the plan.
Any questions for Chief Lind?
I support your recommendation on this. I'm wondering what is the timeline? Like, are they behind on production, or how quickly is it going to be available?
They basically said as soon as they can get the chassis, they can start building.
Really?
Okay.
So it's a matter of when Ford is able to get those chassis out. We've had a a pickup that was ordered in May that is still not delivered. And so
Did they give you a time frame on it yet?
Dave has no time frame whatsoever
Okay.
of those. And so, and the manufacturer goes out and they're trying to just source off of any lot they can find throughout the United States, not even buying them through the fleet program for customers. So, and every manufacturer is in the same boat because the ambulance cabin chassis is a specific design and build with extra alternators and suspension and things like that. So it's not like you can just go buy a pickup off the lot and stick a box on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank
You
you.
want a motion on this?
Yep.
Okay, we'll look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we award the 2021 ambulance bid to Osage in an amount of $162,949.
We have a motion by Councilman Meekum. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Montoya. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Say nay. Thank you. That was unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, item 6, bids for update of the Parks, Recreation, Trails, Open Space Master Plan.
All right, Mayor and Council, Norm Beagley's been doing a lot of work to get this this update moving forward. I've been working with him on that, and with him being out of town, I'll introduce this item. So basically, Blue Line is who did our previous Parks, Recreation, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan. If you remember, we approached the council and asked if they felt like it was good to get a bid from them to move forward since they had the familiarity with that plan. The council was provided with their proposal, and down at the very bottom of that, there was a list of things that specific items that were assumptions and exclusions to that plan that we felt were appropriate that they took into consideration in preparing this proposal. But because of the previous experience they've had with this master plan and we feel like this is the direction that would be best to move forward with is to move forward with Blue Line. Their process is really pretty standard with a lot of the master plan updates that we do. I guess I should clarify that this master plan update will reference and will kind of work in conjunction with the general plan, the effort that's been done there, the effort that Utah State University and their students worked on, and the current effort that's taking place for the active transportation plan. So with all that being said, we as staff recommend that Blue Line be awarded the update of this Parks, Recreation, Trails, and Master Plan and the associated impact facilities plan and impact fee analysis for a not to exceed amount of $66,900.
Are you comfortable that's in line with what work to be done?
Yep, and that's
Okay.
within the budgeted amount.
All right. Any questions, comments? If not, I'd look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to award the contract to Blue Line Design for updating the Santaquin City Parks, Recreation, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan and the associated IFFP and IFA in an amount not to exceed $66,000 and $66,900. $66,900.
You got it. We have a motion by Councilman Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Montoya. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. All right, formal public hearing. I look for a motion to go into the formal public hearing.
So moved.
A motion by Councilman Miller. You have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Meekum. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. All right, we have a formal public hearing, an ordinance amending the city water system regulations. Ben, you going to tell us about that?
I will. This is one of the ordinances that our city attorney and operations manager have been working to clean up. This is the utility ordinance. It basically has three main aspects. It moves the source protection. Source protection is when you have things percolate through by one of our culinary sources, moving that from the sewer portion of our code into the culinary water portion of our code, which is in harmony with state statute. And ensuring that it's not just protecting our source water from sewer, but it's protecting it from any kind of contaminants. That's why it's in the culinary section. The second aspect is that rather than the city council being the approval authority whenever there's any kind of crossing of our our culinary lines with sewer, it would be the approval of our city engineer, who would be reviewing the plans and ensuring that meets all technical standards. And the third, it cleans up the application process. Right now, the application process is a little misstated, and if you're within 300 feet, the application process really just is defining and telling people if you are going to fill out an application, here's where you go. And the code language is just cleaned up in that aspect. Those are the three things that are before the public, and then later on the agenda before you. The ordinance has been available to the public throughout the weekend as well. So,
Okay.
with that.
Properly noticed. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to address the public hearing or address the council? No? Nobody signed up? Okay. We'll close the public hearing then and look for a motion to exit the public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Meekum. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. All right, new business. Ordinances. Number 9, ordinance 10-01, 2021, Utilities Amendment.
Mayor, this is the exact one I just described, and so it's before you for your consideration.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this? If not, I look for a motion on this ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve an ordinance amending provisions related to the use of the city's culinary and sewer collection systems, providing for codification.
Yes, thank you for correcting that. Thank you.
Correction of Scrivener's errors, severability, and an effective date for the ordinance.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilman Meekum. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion on this ordinance? If not, Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Councilman Miller.
Aye.
Thank you. That was unanimous. Item 10, ordinance 10-02-2021, RC zone revised uses.
I just want to say I'm from the back east, and codification is the appropriate pronunciation back there.
That doesn't mean
just
that's
like
right.
bagels. Bagels are the right way to say bagels. That's where it came from originally.
Whatever.
You're a cod. Yeah, cod.
I embrace it.
Cod.
It deals with
That's
code.
why I said
so
it for
it's-
you.
It's codification. Go ahead.
All right, Mayor and Council, this proposed ordinance is some cleanup to the RC zone that we noticed as we worked through the negotiation of the development agreement with the Erkenbrack property. The RC zone was used as kind of a basis for creating a new zone, the commercial light manufacturing zone. As we were looking really closely at the RC zone and making adjustments to that to create the CLM zone, we noticed some things that we felt like needed to be cleaned up and clarified. So maybe if you'd like to scroll down to the land use table, it's really just the land use table that's being affected. The first one you'll see there is accessory apartments just being removed altogether. That is really just updating the term for that. We've since renamed accessory apartments to be dwellings, accessory unit detached. If you remember, we created the definition for ADUs or dwellings that are accessory units attached, and so it's just terminology to update, and that's why that's being removed. Again, with those two terms, adding that and having the appropriate permitted and non-permitted in this particular zone. Dwelling single family detached is really how that term is defined in our code. So just adding that to clarify so that it's in conjunction with our definitions. Same thing with multiple family dwellings. And then scrolling down, you'll see that there's large scale developments and plan unit developments, which we propose to just remove altogether. Plan unit developments is right now it was currently listed as a conditional use. However, as you know, plan unit developments, in that section of code, it talks about where it qualifies, but really the process for a plan unit development to be approved is much like a rezone, which is a legislative action. So having it listed in our code as a conditional use, I think, is misleading and makes it appear like it's more of an administrative action. So there is a whole process for a development to be considered as a plan unit development, and we didn't feel like it was necessary to have this in the land use table, and in fact probably just caused more confusion and created some ambiguity. Same thing sort of with the large scale developments. It's actually a chapter of code that we have within the large scale development code. It specifically talks about plan unit developments, and then it also talks about mobile home parks as being types of large-scale developments that can take place. And so, again, with what I just described with planning and developments, it doesn't make sense to have that in there as a conditional use permit, which then alludes to the fact that a plan unit development can happen as a conditional use. Similarly, as you can see, mobile home parks there, it was listed as conditional use. It was our understanding that I should say the expectation of the city was that mobile home parks weren't allowed in the city anymore, and so that was kind of clearing that up to what our understanding was, that everybody's of what everybody's expectation of was in terms of that type of development. So with that, we would propose to change that to an N and then have the large scale developments just removed altogether to again take away that ambiguity. So that's really the essence of this proposed amendment to the RC zone, and we have this ordinance here for your consideration.
Any questions or comments on it? Okay, would accept a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 10-02-2021, an ordinance amending Santaquin City Code to update the land use table in the residential commercial RC zone, providing for codification, correction of Scrivener's errors, severability, and an effective date for the ordinance.
We have a motion by Councilmember Montoya. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
A second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion on this ordinance? If not, Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
and Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 11, ordinance 10-03-2021, animal rights amendment.
All right, Mayor and Council. Ben kind of bumped me and wanted me to make sure that I mentioned what the Planning Commission had recommended on the last one. Their recommendation was unanimous. Similarly, the Planning Commission's recommendation on this proposed ordinance was unanimous as well. So I appreciate him making sure that I remember to let you know what the Planning Commission recommended. So for this ordinance, Dennis Marker is not here. This is really something that he's been doing a lot of the work on, along with our legal counsel Brett Rich. The title of this ordinance is related to animal control. We're not really diving into the substance of animals, but really it's the process for granting a particular type of license called
Jason, that's a good reason not to be here all night. So, yeah, continue on.
Yeah, and there were some questions about that at the Planning Commission meeting, and wanted to make sure that we're not diving into animal control in its because that is a completely different animal, no pun intended. But for purposes of this code, it's really to help clarify the process for getting a fancier and hobby permit. A fancier and hobby permit is really kind of kind of the middle ground of between just the standard rights that people have to have dogs or cats and a full-on kennel license. A kennel license being more of a commercial operation where they have several dogs or several cats for breeding purposes. The fancier is really to have more than 3 dogs or 3 cats, but they would need to go through a process. This code amendment really helps clarify what that process is, and it's proposed that this process be a conditional use permit that would be reviewed and considered by the Planning Commission. So as you can see in the language, it talks about the criteria that the Planning Commission used to decide whether or not it's appropriate for someone to be granted a fancier and hobby permit license. So this went through the Planning Commission because of it affecting Title 10. As you can see in in this ordinance, there is a section in Title 5 that's being amended. The Planning Commission didn't necessarily review that, but it was there used for them to review as context for the changes that are made in Title 10. But the City Council has the ultimate discretion on whether changes to Title 5 take place or not. So that's really the essence of this this ordinance is to really clarify the process for someone getting a fancier and hobby permit license. This ordinance is here for your consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. I'm glad this happened. It clarified it a lot. So, any thoughts, comments, questions? If not, I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 10-03-2021, an ordinance amending animal control regulations, providing for codification, corrections of scrivener's errors, severability, and effective date for the ordinance.
Thank you. There's a true believer. All right.
I'm
We have a
feeling
motion.
very outnumbered up here.
You are.
We have a motion by Councilman Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, second by Councilman Meekum. Any further discussion or questions on this ordinance? If not, Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
and Councilman Meekum.
Aye.
Thank you. That was unanimous. Item 12, ordinance 10-04-2021, parking enforcement on school district property.
Mayor and Council, we received a letter back in December from the school district just reaching out to the city of Santaquin, letting us know that if that it would be welcome and they would extended the invitation to us to enforce any of our city ordinances within school district property pursuant to changes in state statute. And so that's kind of been in the background. You probably also recall our principal from the Orchard Hills Elementary School coming in and talking to us about some of the concerns that she had out there on property that was owned both by the school district and the city with regard to some people parking overnight. They've addressed that internally and have made it posted no parking, overnight parking signs, and have put some notifications out there. But to give that some added teeth, we went back to that invitation from Reed Park, their legal counsel from December, and thought it would be in the best interest of both parties if we updated our city ordinances to reflect and support the school district in that endeavor. This ordinance was written by our legal counsel and our operations manager to try to incorporate that. We looked at some of the other cities and what their language was in this regard. We've incorporated some of what they had, not everything, because other parts were covered by state statute. But we sent this to the school district. It was reviewed by them and approved, and they signed and executed that letter that was an invitation back in December and sent that to us. And that has been attached to this ordinance as well. So this is before you for your consideration. If you have any questions, our legal counsel's here and can answer questions on it.
Any questions,
So
comments?
are we going to enforce it?
It would be by invitation of the school district. So if they have any kind of an issue where people are staying, right now it's they're putting notifications on the cars and it's the issue's somewhat resolved. They don't necessarily need to have the teeth But if they do in the future, they'll let us know and we'll come out there and enforce it on their behalf. And all the procedure and teeth are put in place to allow our police department and our prosecutor to support the school district.
If they ask us.
Yeah.
We're not just going to go drive by and do it.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a well posted and signed.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they should know. All right. Anything else? Any questions? More? If not, I look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt Ordinance 10-4-2021, an ordinance amending the Santaquin City Code to provide appropriate regulations regarding parking and use of motor vehicles on public property, providing for codification, correction of scrivener's errors, severability, and effective date for the ordinance.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good thing there's only 4 on there tonight.
We have a motion by Councilman Meekum. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion on this? If not, Councilman Meekum,
Aye.
Councilman Miller,
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, that takes care of the business. I'm the only one that didn't. Betsy, did you report? You didn't give us any report, did you?
We did our reports
well,
already.
you
We
you
went
did
through the whole
reports
agenda.
while you were.
Yeah. So,
I
do you have
apologize.
anything to report?
If only I had control over everybody else's schedule, like the school district, right?
Good luck.
Right? Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. All right, so I do apologize for being late. I was needed at a school district meeting earlier this evening with my son, and I will watch the video of tonight's work session later after it's posted so that I can listen in on the discussion for the agenda items from the work session. The YCC helped with the Orchard Hills Fall Carnival last Friday evening, and huge turnout. It was just a blast. Beautiful, beautiful evening. We had kids doing face painting, YCC kids doing face painting and helping with the fishing pond, and I was there just to kind of say hello and make sure that our kids had something, but I was put in charge of the cornhole for the evening, which was really fun. So that was great. And then right after that event, the YCC kids went to a community services event that was the Teen Night Games, and a huge thanks to Shauna Joe for organizing that and being there as the supervision and carrying out that activity. Really fantastic attendance. I think there were about 40 to 50 kids who were there, and it was really fun. My son reported that they all had a really fun time. So I think there was one little collision with flag football, but it was still just a really great fun time. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry I missed everybody else's.
Well, I still have one thing. I know you were there and Ben was there, but we attended the ULCT training this past week in Salt
that's
Lake,
right.
and from what I was able to go to, I really enjoyed it, and probably be my last one for quite a while. But I really enjoyed going to those, and not only to rub shoulders with other mayors and council members and staff from other cities, but to hear things that are pertinent to what's going on, in our state. I went to one that training on our drought and the water that we have, and it's getting close to the state's going to mandate zero escape. You watch, it's coming. From what I was listening to, it's they're going to start tightening down on water use, and so the more we can conserve, the better we're going to be, and being able to meet that. But I'm not sold on it yet. I still like green grass myself. So the training was great, and to be able to to be together with you. The rest of you missed out on that, but I know it's something good future. Be sure and go to them. They're well worth your time. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Councilman Miller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Montoya. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. No nays? We're out of here. Thank you.